You are watching Tech Confessions, created by Amy Lewis and brought to you by VMware.
Peter, welcome to Tech Confessions.
Hey, I can't believe you got me on the couch.
I can't either.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, we need your confession today.
Okay.
Many have
How
come
many
before
hours do you have?
Well, we've got a lot of time and a plant, so we have everything that we need.
Excellent.
Tell me, is you've been involved with the cloud a long time? A long time.
Yeah.
Is it really other people's computers?
It's no hardware whatsoever. This whole serverless thing, I was talking about it 10 years ago. No, it is other people's computers. I mean, let's face it. I mean, what else can you say? The benefit of the cloud is not having to, buy, manage, own, control all of the physical stuff, and really kind of unlock that innovation of the developer. Remove the constraints of, of price, of configuration, of operations, of management, and focus solely on the things that matter to you as a business. Focus on innovation.
Very cool. I know there have been some announcements this week. We're at Dell Tech World recording these. Virtual Cloud Network. Talk to me about this.
Virtual
Confess,
Cloud Network.
Did you have something to do with this?
No, not at all. All right, so it's kind of the premise of it's actually kind of simple, right? The reality is, especially in networking, we love to go all the way down into the practitioner level and talk about, we can move the routing function into software. We can move the, the switching function into software. We can do all of this stuff in software. And all of the conversations with regards to the transformation of software-defined networking have been done at the feature function level. But the value of it actually gets unlocked when you get way above the specific services or capabilities that are one replacing the other. And it comes back to the fact that, especially now, customers, businesses, they're no longer doing everything just in the data center, right? They're using other people's computers, right? They're using the cloud at massive scale. In fact, on one side you could sit and say 50% of applications are moving outside of the data center and into the cloud. I had an interesting conversation with the guys at Gartner where they said 100% of enterprise innovation starts in the cloud. Right?
Oh, interesting.
So whether it comes back to running the data center or not, that is where new innovation is happening because of that simplicity, because of that availability, and because of the removal of risk or cost. And then it gets even crazier as we start looking at edge computing. Right? Everything of value is connecting to the network, and so what that means is new experiences are being created, new things are shooting information back in that you can make draw business insights from. There's more kind of line of sight from businesses all the way out to the edge. But the interesting thing is when you look at all the capabilities of how IT is transformed, nobody's built a common thread that goes through all of this to make sure that you have consistency and fidelity of networking and security services for the app, regardless of whether it's in the data center, in the cloud, in the branch, or all the way out at the edge. And so our vision behind the virtual cloud network is literally, hey, all of these things really matter. All of the physical attributes that come along with the data centers that have been built, or the edges that have been built, or the clouds, they do have hardware in them. That's all really, really important. But for the developers, for the lines of business, for the business overall, abstract up and gain better control and consistency so that you know that wherever your application and data resides, it's going to be in the best location for the business at that point in time, but it's going to maintain the fidelity of network availability as well as the security services and policies associated with it.
Very cool.
Does that even make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. It just makes me think about, you've talked about it, you obviously have a good grasp on both the history and where you think it's going, the industry's going. I'm really curious, and I don't know this question, where did this all start for you? What was the place that got you into our industry in the very, very beginning? Not just cloud. What was
just all the way
your
back?
origin story? Yeah.
Oh my. It's really funny. I grew up in the Bay Area, so
just a very rare native.
Yeah, very, very native. There's not many of us left, right? We're an extinct group. So born and raised in the Bay Area. in the middle of orchards, right? Apple orchards, cherry orchards, all of that kind of stuff. And it was around the time that, technology really blossomed. It was the early days of Fairchild. It was the early days of things like Hewlett-Packard and what have you. And as a kid, right, or as a rebellious teenager, I wanted nothing to do with technology. Right?
Interesting.
My dad was in the industry. We had all of the new computers. We had all kinds of cool stuff at home. I didn't want to touch them or use them. I went to school, studied economics, and I really focused in on wanting to do strategy, especially as it related to financial markets or government movements, right? So the whole socio-political economics push was my thing. And I was really fortunate. There was a very large brokerage firm that I had a chance to go do an internship with for the summer of my junior year. And about a week in, after they had us cold calling people to come basically do sales for them, I realized there's no way in the world I'm ever going to do this in my life. And so I found myself in a position of going, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I left that internship because I knew I wasn't going to do that. And you can imagine my parents were like, what are you going to do then? Right. Fortunately for me, 2 weeks later, I ended up in an internship with Apple Computer, focused specifically on online services. And it was at the time it was called eWorld. So if you think about AOL and Prodigy, eWorld was Apple's version of that. And I had a really interesting opportunity to work through customer service, marketing, product development, customer success, and then all the way back into that call center. And the idea was learning every aspect of customer engagement, what drives people's decisions, how they interact with products, user experience, and how that fits into the development of technology. And it was everything that I had studied, yet rather than being about guns and money, it was about technology and changing the lives of people, connecting them and having them come up with these new experiences. And
so it just clicked so much in the way
totally
the other internship
and it was really weird because, what you find is, growing up in the Bay Area, while I had avoided technology at all costs, it
hadn't avoided you?
Yeah. It was there. It was something that was, second nature. It was easy to step in and start doing it, but it was switching it from the technological view and into that business, user, consumer view that got me excited. And that's basically been the common thread through everything that I've done in my career. I've had a slant with regards to, disruptive technologies, things that enable the normal person to be able to do more with technology is what gets me excited. So when you think about that,
so we haven't gotten the rebellious teen out of you just yet.
No, I'm always going to be a rebel. Come on, you work with me. I'm a rebellious teen still today. But that's kind of been the big play, and it's been a lot of fun. Going into markets, seeing what we can go disrupt, figure out how we can make lives better, and then grow as fast as we possibly can.
I love it. It's a great story. Thank you, Peder.
Sure.
We appreciate your confession, and we're glad you turned your misspent youth around.
I'm sure my parents are happy too.
When you're ready to make your tech confession, join us at TechConfessionsTheShow.com.